start our recording now, and the floor is yours.
Wonderful, thank you. Can everybody see that all right? Okay. Well, good morning. I'm Sarah, the co-founder of Barnell Drone Services. We got connected to Pueblo Food Project through Mark Maddock and Megan Moore over at Southern Colorado Innovation Link. And we were just really excited about what you guys were doing and working on. And my husband, Brian, and I will also be moving to Pueblo after this growing season. So we're looking forward to bringing Barnell headquarters to Pueblo and joining the community. So Barnell is me, my brother Jaron, and my husband Brian. We got started in La Junta, Colorado in 2017 after we moved back home to Colorado. Our grandparents started their family in La Junta and lived in the area pretty much their whole lives. And when their health started to decline, we decided it was really important for us to be closer. Jaron at the time was using drones for volumetric measurement for things like rock quarries, asphalt plants, concrete plants, and the company that he was working with wouldn't keep him on in Colorado. So when we got back to the area, we got to know some of the farmers in the La Junta area, and we saw how hard the work is and how many challenges they were dealing with and how important farmers are to our communities and our food systems. We had to figure out a way that we could help and wanted to apply some of the technology from other industries to benefit agriculture. Food has always been a way to bring our family together, and there have been times when there was plenty and times when we weren't sure what next week would bring. We want current and future generations to feel the same joy that we do at the farm, around the table, and throughout our communities. So we are working to help secure our food supply, support our farmers, reduce food waste, and save our planet, and then reconnect our urban and our rural communities. We focus on farmers because they are the first link in the food supply system. Without them, we won't survive, and we can't make a difference in other areas, like food access, food waste, and the climate. And then next, I have just a short video, some drone footage of some farms that we visit, a little different perspective. That was hopefully just to get us thinking a little higher, I guess. So Barnell is working to help secure our food supply and increase food access in three main ways. We provide AgTech systems focused around drones and robotic services to help farmers reduce inputs and increase yields. We use our systems to collect data and then turn that data into information that is used for early intervention into harmful farm events like weeds and worms and other things. We then take this data and translate it so consumers can interact with the farm, get to know the farmer a little bit better, and understand what all goes into growing their food and where it comes from. And then third, our systems are working to reduce agriculture practices that just aren't sustainable for Colorado and the planet. So soil compaction is a big one of those for us. We work with our farmers to develop systems that work for them first and make a positive impact on our food systems. For example, our farmers have been struggling with labor, and these labor shortages will likely continue. So to help, we developed weeding robots, which are basically lightweight mini tractors designed to go through the fields and take care of weeds. Eventually, these mini tractors will also plant and harvest to help farmers with polycropping and maximizing acreage and production. Our drones collect macro and micro levels of data, which can be used for many things, from season crop analysis to yield predictions. And then the owl perch is a weather station and soil moisture monitor with AI. All of these services are targeted at helping our farmers keep feeding us for hundreds of years and in attempting to make the job just a little bit easier. But supporting our farmers can't be the only thing that we do to truly make a difference. We do need to reconnect our urban and rural communities. And in getting consumers out to the farms, buying local and directly from our farmers, we hope to encourage a better understanding of farm and rural challenges. This will also hopefully increase local tourism for all businesses in those communities. Buying local also allows fair and reasonable price for our farm products and creates better, fresher food options for our communities. Finally, this all works to help reduce food waste and increase food access for people that might not be able to reach these fresh and healthy foods. We know to make a difference, it really will require a change in thought and action from our food producers within our supply chain and from consumers everywhere, but we know it can be done. So Barn Owl Vision is our approach at guiding consumers to the farm and encouraging a difference in buying behavior, making it fun and educational at the same time. It's a website that focuses on telling the farmer's story and allows some interactive participation with the crops throughout the season. We are hoping that eventually it will grow to be something that consumers can really use to be better informed and use their buying power to help make a difference from urban areas. It's small right now and will always be a work in progress, but has other fun things like crop facts and podcasts. You can check it out at barnowlvision.com. But the best part about it is that the media that is used on this website is the scientific data that is provided to farmers for their operation support. So viewers are seeing the exact same things that the farmers see, just with a little bit of a different editing factor. Since it's all the same data, the farmers will never pay to be on this site, which is going to be our goal forever. And this brings us to action items, things that we can do to connect the working parts of the food systems. So Ugly Food Week, which just depending on how COVID is and restaurant labor shortages might just be Ugly Food Weekend this year. But this is an event geared at connecting the whole system and bringing people together to make a positive and hopefully lasting impact. We can't do it alone, but our part would be collecting the food that gets left in the field during harvest or food that large suppliers deem ugly and donating it to restaurants or grocers in which chefs create a beautiful dish. The proceeds from this dish would go to a food charity like Care and Share, and then the restaurants would get a boost in sales and marketing related to being part of the solution. The whole system would likely benefit. Farmers would gain some direct to restaurant and consumer supply chains. The restaurants would gain business and support from buying local, and consumers would be able to use their buying power at these restaurants and grocers to make a difference. We'll start small this year in La Junta and Pueblo, Colorado Springs, and maybe Canyon City or the Florence area, but we want to grow it to be a super fun event with cook-offs and festivals and farm marketing events and other things. And I think it really can make a big difference. And if we use social media and other things, I think it can go a long way throughout our community and statewide. Pueblo Food Project is already doing so many of these things, and we want to help in any way we can. We could also use help. This is bigger and so much more important than just us, and we're looking forward to seeing how we can be a part of making a positive impact for our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. That was a lot. If you want to drop your screen share and we'll get everyone back in grid mode so we can see everyone's face. Who has some questions for Sarah, either about Barn Owl or AgTech or Ugly Food Week? Let's start with some of the tech questions first, and then we can roll into Ugly Food Week. Who has one?
I do.
All right, Mo, go for it.
I got two questions for you. How many farmers are you working with right now? And are they all in the La Junta Pueblo area?
We work with quite a few, and they are not. We have potato farmers and hemp farmers in the San Luis Valley. We do
Great.
some of the melon farmers in the Rocky Ford area, a chili farmer in the Pueblo area, and then we're working our way up north as well. So all of our crops vary from commodity corn to specialty melons and cabbage. And
Well, that's exciting. Yeah, that was kind of my follow-up question, is like, what kind of diversity do you have in the agriculture? It sounds like a lot. What do you see as the future of technology and agriculture in our region? Do you think that's something that's going to expand more? Do you see like a need for education for it? I'm so excited about it.
yeah, no, we want to do it twofold. We want the technology and the actual drones and robots to be everywhere doing everything they can. But the second part is increasing the education from the communities. And the difference in size between Pueblo and La Junta is quite a bit different. So to me, Pueblo is even a big community. So using the community power of the consumers to get out to the farms is going to be the second really big part of everything.
Awesome. I'm going to reach out to you after this meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
Just a comment. We've been using Barn Owl for several years, and they're just absolutely awesome at the CSU Research Farm, and they also work at the research farm in the San Luis Valley. And there's just a ton of things they did. Not only some of the technology things, but they've done a great video of our field day. I've used them on my own personal farm, and they saved me hundreds of dollars checking elevations. It's just amazing what things they can do, and I am excited to see what the future is going to bring. So nice job. Thank you guys for working with us.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's good to see you. And sorry we bug you so much.
My pleasure.
Go for it, Tom.
Yeah, one question I have is, with the using of the drones and everything, how does this affect the workers are actually on the farm? Are we losing workers on the farm because of this kind of technology, or are we still keeping them, and the resource that they are is better used? Is that
Great question, Tom? Thank you. So we are not cutting any labor. Most of our farmers are seeing a huge labor shortage and just can't find people. But the second part of that is our systems are doing dumb things. So like our robots, they do a weeding service, and then that just allows the people who are already doing that weeding service to go do things that people can do: organize shops, fix tractors, pay bills, or make phone calls to suppliers, whatever else that people need to be doing. And so our approach is not to cut actual labor jobs. It's just to provide the labor that can cut the labor budget in half, or just supplement where it's needed. And the supplement factor is the bigger one.
Couple more questions for Sarah. Go for it, Dr. Kelly.
Beautiful presentation. Thank you for sharing. And it made me very curious about the kinds of data, the micro and macro. I know that's probably more than we can discuss here today, but I wanted to hear about the marketing piece, like how you said you were able to tell the story of the farmer. I noticed that's a big push in the sustainability strategy, is how to connect the consumer to why they want to choose local.
Yeah, so the types of data that we get, we're doing everything that we possibly can, from detecting individual insects and individual disease on a plant to monitoring the entire farm field just for growth and weed patches and areas, irrigation problems. So we're doing both of those. We also can integrate satellite imagery, but at 400 feet, our data is just better than any satellite can pick up. And then for the marketing purpose of it, we do these panoramas, these interactive panoramas that is for the farmers to go in and explore their fields. So it's like Google Earth for farms, basically. And then the consumers can do the same thing through Barn Owl Vision. We are attempting to tell the story, but it's actually a lot harder to get farmers to get on camera with me than I thought it would be. So that's something that I'm going to always be working on. But we've gotten a really good start. I think there's 6 farms on Barn Owl Vision right now. And then working with the communities, like eventually we want to create, if anybody's ever played Pokemon Go, a Pokemon Go style app for farmers markets to get kids and mostly kids encouraging their parents to, I want to go collect this thing at Hannigan's Farmer Market or wherever it might be. And that way people get out there no matter what. So it's those 2 folds, but the data is the same exact data that we collect every week. And it's just provided in a slightly different way.
Does anyone have a question about Ugly Food Week? If you have more ag tech questions, shoot, but if you have some questions about Ugly Food Week, we can field those now too.
Hey, I have a quick question. What are those weed pickers? What's that about? Are they like little robots picking weeds or what?
Yeah, so it's a weeding robot, and it's small, so it's designed to be between 26 inches and 30 inches to go in between the rows. And then we use computer vision and GPS location. Our GPS is able to get within centimeters of the plant so that we're not attacking the plants that we want to keep, and we're just weed whacking. We don't ever want to pull the weeds because we want to leave the soil just the way it is. It has great nutrients, and topsoil is really important. But yeah, they just go through the fields and
That's super cool. Do you have any for residential folks?
Yeah, eventually we will be doing that. And so I have an aunt who would laugh at me if I told her that it was just going to whack weeds. So our residential application, it will probably pull weeds in your backyard, but we'll do that as well.
Yeah, get those on the fast track. I need one.
Right.
Yeah, one question about this Ugly Food Week.
Yeah.
Can, like, just us here, the panel, consumers, how do we get some of this ugly food as well so that we can do our own canning or preserving classes or put something like that together and it not, or we can distribute to like the homeless or to things like that. How is this? I would love to be involved in something like this.
Yeah, and I think that's where Pueblo Food Project comes in to help, because Barn Owl is just the 3. We'll have 5 this year, but hopefully with a food hub or something like that in Pueblo, I can bring all of the food that gets left in the field or the food that is too big or whatever it might be to a food hub or something like that, and then the consumers or whoever else can come to that food hub and pick out the food that they want for other things instead of it just being put to waste. So I think that's the long-term goal. This year it will likely just be restaurants, but maybe we can do something a little bit different.
All right, last call before we continue on with our agenda. I think Mark had a question in the chat. How much money are you saving farmers?
Yeah, so that kind of just varies per crop, but we have a commodity corn farmer who will be able to increase bushel by at least 15 bushels per acre, which the price of corn should increase their revenues by over $100,000. And then a sweet corn farmer out in Olathe, we're doing the same exact kind of program, but it's people food, so we have to do it a slightly different way. And we'll save that farmer $40,000 in inputs, and we'll be able to increase their corn per box by at least 10 boxes per acre.
And Kelly asks, this will be our last question, do we have a target week for Ugly Food Week?
Yes, we're hoping for the first weekend in October. That'll just be right around harvest for most of our farmers. And it might be as late as the 2nd, but we're hoping for the first weekend.
All right, everyone, round of applause to Sarah.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm really excited to be a part of Pueblo Food Project and what you guys are already doing. So thank you.
And last request for you to throw your contact info in the chat.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. So the next thing on our agenda is to talk through all of the really amazing food and farm literacy and education opportunities we have available here in Pueblo. It is about to be May. It is almost planting season. We know there's a lot of interest in food and farming, especially after the year that we've just had. And Pueblo has an abundance of resources for all ages and ranges and skill levels and abilities. So we have All Pueblo Grows, we have the classes done by CSU Extension, we have the aquaponics and hydroponic works done by IFIS and Dr. Kelly's team. We have the edible landscapes that are coming online. We have our community gardens that are coming online. So I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes sort of calling folks out from the community to give us their 60-second spiel on the great activities and resources that are available. And then if we have questions, we can sort of answer some questions from there. And we will be putting together just a hit list of websites for folks to go to. But essentially, again, any age range in the Pueblo community, if you have an interest in food and farming, like the power is here. So a quick intro to these resources. Derek, can you start us off with All Pueblo Grows?
I sure can. So the All Pueblo Grows, we've got 90 kits out in the community already. We did a different model this year. Oh, and actually, let me pull this up.
I'll link in the chat for you.
Oh, yeah, I was just about to do that. Hold on a second. There we go. I have much more information. So this is a link. I just posted in there. There's a link to the webpage, allpueblogrows.org, as well as a link to the ordering kit order form, and also the description of the kits. So this year, out of 400 kits total, we've got 90 already out in the community, plus 50 more that were ordered by Marcy Cochran, who's working with the Cannabis Alliance. And so that's a total of 140 kits that are out in the community. The children's kit is the most popular kit so far. So that's one thing that we've discovered. And the children's kit has beans, carrots, lettuces, peas, radishes, strawberries, or sweet corn, summer squash, cherry tomatoes, and watermelon. So it's kind of a kit designed towards, teaching kids how to grow food. And of course, we're doing our monthly presentations the last Saturday of every month. This coming month in May, I will be doing a presentation on bugs and pests in your garden. So we'll be talking about how to deal with flea beetles and elm beetles, and you'll start seeing all this different bugs and stuff and aphids and all that good stuff. And that's all I have to say about all that.
All right, and just friendly reminder, if you didn't catch the drift, these seed kits are absolutely free. Anyone can order a seed kit and it actually gets delivered to the little lending library closest to you. So please be sure to utilize that resource. How about Cherie? Can you tell us what's going on at the Extension office?
Yeah, absolutely. And I did just drop the link to register for those All Pueblo Grows Zoom classes in the chat as well. So definitely join those. They're free and awesome. So of course the Extension office has a ton of classes and stuff going on. I'm gonna spam the chat with a bunch of links after I'm done, but I'll kind of go through them first. We have the Art and Garden class series. Those are free and they're kind of just timely gardening topics that go every month until August. So register for those on Zoom. They're all on Zoom right now. We also have another series, a guest speaker series, where we have some kind of big names in horticulture coming to do some talks for us. And those are $10 because I have to pay most of the speakers. So, but they're pretty cool. They're really reputable people talking about really cool stuff. And we're adding more of those all the time. So just keep checking our website and our Facebook page, which I will also put links to in the chat. I also wanted to plug our food preservation classes that are starting next week. Laura Griffin is our family and consumer science agent, so she's doing those via Zoom this year. Obviously, we don't really have the capacity to be back in the office, so that should be kind of fun doing it at home. So I'll post the link to that. And then I would say just check our Facebook. We always have new stuff that comes up all the time. So I'll put a link to that and follow us if you're on Facebook, or check our website if not. And I think the last thing I want to say is we have our Master Gardener Shed plant sale coming up on Saturday, May 8th in the Ag Palace on the State Fairgrounds from 9 to 2. It's always a great sale. Perennial favorites will be there. They're only wholesaling this year, so it's like a good opportunity to catch them somewhere. We have lots of vegetable plants, drought tolerant perennials, plant select plants, so tons and tons of stuff, plus Master Gardeners to answer your questions while you're there. Day before Mother's Day, pick up a gift for mom, May 8th, 9 to 2. I think that's, oh, I'm sorry, one more thing. The Pueblo West Community Marketplace is going to be this summer. They are going to be able to do that at Civic Center Park in Pueblo West starting June 19th at 8 a.m. That's it.
All right, thank you, Cherie. And the Master Gardener plant sale will be the debut of the Pueblo Primrose. So if you don't know where you're going to get your Primrose yet, we got it there on the 8th, and we have it at Springside Cheese on the 15th. So if you want that proprietary new Pueblo pepper blend, whew, it's a tough one. Hit up that Master Gardener plant sale. Jen, can you tell us a little bit about Grow Feed Change?
All right, so we are in our second year of Grow Feed Change Project, which was our COVID community relief effort, growing free fruit and vegetable plant starts and packing from bulk seeds to get a complete garden kit for free to residents in the region who are wanting to be able to take control of any part of their food supply that they can and grow their own, basically putting the power of food back into the hands of the people, while eliminating all barriers, financial as well as transportation wise. We have deliveries direct to the communities so that they don't have to travel long distances to get there. So our partner communities range from Levada and Cuchara all the way up to Smelter Superfund site residents in Bessemer Island and Grove. And we will be looking for potential support as far as packing seeds from bulk and transplanting thousands and thousands of little babies into their next size up, which we had a fantastic time doing at Water Tower Place last year. And we feed our volunteers really well because we love you all and you mean a lot to us. So be looking for announcements. We're on our Facebook page, which is We Are Farmily, has all the most current updates, and I will drop that into the chat.
Thank you. Marcy, tell us what we can expect at the farmers market this season.
Well, we're looking at doing all kinds of cool fun stuff. Live craft with planting and growing tips, and I'm hoping that we can have somebody like a master gardener there to help ease fears and concerns and things like that, and answer questions. Monique will be doing story time, and that will be tied in with cooking demos and whatever food we're highlighting that week. And I'm hoping to find a way to do something like chalk art competition. Really want to bring bring the families out and make the farmers market like a oh gosh, the phrase just community gathering place.
All right, Dr. Kelly, what's going on in the aquaponics, hydroponics world?
Awesome, thank you. I wanted to give some props to the IFIS program under the I Will projects because they have two great things happening. IFIS is Indoor Farming Innovation Zone. So they're replacing the Learning Lab with a more public demonstration there at Campbell's Greenhouse on 28th and Elizabeth. So you should be able to see that anytime now. And they also are successfully working with Boys and Girls Club all across Southern Colorado to provide digital lessons around aquaponics and small tank kits where the kids can have a desktop sized unit. And so that's going to continue over the next year and a half. And they are in lots of different cities. Also on the Perpetual Harvest side, we've been volunteering with PSAS Fulton Heights and Roncalli, who are doing some hydroponic lessons. I'll tell you more about that in the update in detail. But also the Rawlings Library, Pueblo Makes, helped me partner to create some YouTube videos. And we've had one come out every 2 months. First it was build your own compost bin at home. And then it was all about indoor farming. I shared that last time, and now how to build your own worm bin and vermiculture. So we're trying to not just show indoor farming, but also things that you can do with a low cost and budget at home for gardening as well.
All right, and last but not least, Frank, do you want to drop it on us for community gardens around town?
Sure. I'll keep it short. There's a lot going on. Derek manages the south side, on the south side there, the Miracle Community Garden. I manage the garden over at Pueblo House and help in a little bit maybe at the La Familia Community Garden right next to it. And I was talking with Tom recently about the Martin Luther King Jr. Church Garden. So there's gardens all over the place. I'm kind of helping with the edible landscapes again this year also. I have a couple of teacher friends, at least one of whom I know, Meral, has joined in some of the Pueblo Food Project meetings and things. We need to try and get together to kind of maybe bring some of her students to one of the gardens, or I go to her school and talk about her stuff. I know she has some indoor gardening stuff going there already. And another friend who's a teacher wanted to meet at the east side possibly this week or next to check out the gardens there and see if the kids might be interested in that. Been building some seed starter boxes. I'm going to open source that information and share that out. Could also act as like a little wooden box, cold frame, portable, 2 feet by 3 feet type thing. That you could put preferably in a south facing place around your house to grow maybe some lettuce or something. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. And thank you everybody.
All right, so as you can tell, we have a lot of expertise right here in our community. The spring and summertime is a perfect time to just sort of introduce people to these fun new ways to spend time and be self-resilient. Lindy, I'm focused on the growing side, but you also have some offerings for the community. I don't know if you want to just drop 60 seconds on Cooking Matters and what your summer program might look like.
Sure. Well, building on the farmers market, where I'll be there giving tours of the farmers market. So that involves volunteers helping go around and introduce shoppers to the farmers and hear a little bit about what is this food, how do I cook it, how do I store it, how do we encourage kiddos to enjoy it, or picky eaters, or foods that maybe you've never tried before. And then we have funding to provide a $10 extra bucks to spend there at the market. So another way to get people fresh local groceries. And a lot of that is kid friendly. So I'm really excited for all of the just holistic activities we're having or planning there to get families there. And we'll be doing a survey. I might as well just give that update to get more input from the community members on what they'd like to see there, what would make it a welcoming and fun place for them. And then Cooking Matters right now is still virtual classes, but hopefully we'll be able to do some in-person cooking demos up to 6-week cooking and nutrition classes. So thanks for letting me share.
All right, so as you can see, we got a lot going on. If for whatever reason you bump into someone who's needing a little extra hand holding or help, don't hesitate to put them in contact with the Food Project. We'll get them in the hands of the right person. We'll make sure that the notes include just a list of all of the websites that folks just mentioned. And let's get our community out there and put our hands in the dirt and yeah, have some fun this season. All right, now,
are you gonna email all these websites to our email? That way I have, I'm kind of like driving to Lahana because we have a meeting. So I don't have a chance to write anything down. Can you email that to me, please?
Totally, yes.
Thank you so much.
I will send those around, no problem. Okay, now I'm gonna launch a poll. And I'll tell you why. We're launching a poll to answer a couple of questions. The first one's a little bit fun. The next couple are a little, I'm not going to say they're not fun, but they're a little more serious. Full disclosure, this last week, we had our working group meetings, and participation in working group meetings was slightly down. And that was across all of the working group meetings. And I'm thinking that's because the spring season is just taking us over. And I want to really honor that everyone has super busy schedules, and I want to make sure that we're using that time super productively. And so if the cadence is feeling a little too frequent, I mean, I can't believe we're already all back on the line again. Just want to explore where the group is at with that question. So we have a couple of questions that I'm going to launch in the poll. The first one is about natural grocers and which class you would like to do next. As you know, Natural Grocers has been offering a free community class to the Pueblo Food Project Coalition. Last month was, or this month rather, last week was Ladybug Love, and it was the shortest amount of participation that we had. And we want to make sure that we're using our partners' time valuably and your time valuably. So if we're not really feeling the class right now, let us know, but we have some fun options for May. So there's a vote there. And then it's a question about how often our working group meetings should meet. And then a question around whether or not we should take a summer break, and if so, which month. And then lastly, whether meetings should stay online or go back in person. So I'm going to launch this poll, and I would love folks to participate. I can see how many of you are here, so I know how many % of you voted, and would really just appreciate as much participation as possible, because this is our coalition. We get to make the rules. So your perspective on these questions is really important. So I'm going to mute myself, and we'll give about a couple of minutes for folks to take this poll. All right, we're just about halfway there. 64% of folks have voted. All right, about another 30 seconds here. All right, I'm going to close it down, and we will look at these results together. Okay, so it looks like just by a hair, everyday essential oils won out for the next class. So our May class will be essential oils. For the working group meetings, majority of folks still think monthly for 6 minutes is sort of where we need to go. So we'll keep that in mind. And should we take a summer break? Thanks, guys. A lot of people said, no, we don't need one, but I'm voting that yes, we do. So we will take a break in July. We will continue for May, we'll continue for June. We'll do some email updates around in July, but we will not hold a coalition meeting or working group meetings in the month of July. And folks are interested in keeping these meetings online for now. All right. Thank you very much for participating in that. It helps me out a lot to know what the group would like and how to keep us moving in the right direction. So that is that. And now we are ready to go into our working group updates. And I'm just going to read down my list here in order. Mo, can you tell us what's going on in food economy?
Yes, it's a very exciting time for food economy because we are putting the final touches on our RFP for really the big thing we've been working on the last 6 months, which is putting an RFP out for a consultant to design a 15-week-long curriculum and the food incubator program, really pulling from existing resources. And while I have the platform, anyone who is in the working group, the food economy working group, Monique sent out the latest draft of that RFP yesterday. I would love it if you could comment on it by the end of the day so we can get it off to the purchasing department to send out and put out there. And the other thing we're looking at is we're starting to explore the concept of a food hub, which is really kind of on our timeline to work on next year. But what would that look like? What kind of concept do we want to do? So we're in the very beginning phases of really understanding what a food hub is and what one could be here in Pueblo.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mo. Dr. Kelly, food farm literacy and education.
All right, we had a great meeting reviewing some of the 21-day challenge around race and equity in food systems and contributing to a brainstorm on the Colorado State Fairgrounds master plan contribution of how we could have some 5th-day programming or other types of food and farm education ongoing there. And then we discussed the edible landscape program and people's experience with that and how to improve it. And its growth. And then we did a breakout summary around the 2 schools who are piloting new garden programs around hydroponics. Roncalli is doing an awesome job with their grow towers from Juice Plus. They have had their first harvest and the kids are really excited. And the teachers are doing a good job with the state standards and piloting this whole semester around the agriculture theme. And so we should have some really good input about how the students respond to that afterwards too. Working towards a vocational AgTech pathway, we're hoping to break out a task force from the education working group to help build that long-term planning around the farm to school movement. PSA's Fulton Heights out in Salt Creek is doing a STEAM education approach with more of a hands-on build your own garden style. They have 1 hydroponic tower from Juice Plus that was donated, and they also have been using 2-liter bottles and raised beds. And so there's a great way for the students to choose what they're doing there. And it's a good contrast to see which will have a type of impact and how we can approach the districts later about how to implement this countywide. I think that's it. I shared about IFAS and Bell Rawlings Library earlier, so thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Kelly. Dr. Valenzuela, can you give us a quick update on the environment working group?
Sure, thank you. I'm away from my usual place. I'm in Seattle. The environmental working group continues to have frequent guests join us, most recently to discuss the H2A program, which is the working with the Department, the Immigration and Department of Labor to contract laborers. And that turns out to be fairly complicated for the smaller farmers, unfortunately. And as was mentioned before, labor and the proper compliance with the labor or the laws around that make it more of a large scale project. And then we have with Dr. Bartolo, with Mike in our group, we've also been assisting and contributing to the Primrose project, which should really be a emblematic, beautiful way to get our story out there. Done some work with the college, looking to expand the collaboration around the water component of the environment, using their, they have broad involvement in that, including the Colorado Water Center, which is being developed at the old stock grounds in Denver. Well, that's about it for now.
All right, thank you, Dr. Jim. And how about Lindy for food access?
Thanks. So our food access group, we had our monthly meeting, but we also have a few subcommittees going on. So we dug in a little more to looking at bringing what it takes to bring Same Cafe to Pueblo, and what are the next steps for that, to do an assessment and gather another subcommittee to really bring in different expertise around that to see how it would work best in our community. Our working group has given a lot of great input for connecting the pantry assistance grant food that's going out over the next few months to unique locations and new partners around the community, such as schools, housing communities. There are others, I won't go through the whole list, but also pairing that with cooking tools. So somebody who might be living in a hotel, for example, or where they don't have a kitchen, could get a basic kit along with their food so that they can cook it themselves. And then we also dug in to the farmers market at the working group and the subcommittee, looking at some examples and best practices on making farmers markets more inclusive for everyone in your community. So I already talked a little bit about that, but one of the steps is going to be a survey to ask others that aren't in our groups, you know, what else can we do to make this a fun and welcoming market for you, and a place to get food and build community. And we have the videos still in progress. So we've made a lot of great progress through working together, creating scripts, looking for people to give their testimonials. And overall, those are going to help us, the whole community, understand how do programs like SNAP, WIC, and Double Up Food Bucks work, and what's the overall benefit to all of us in the community, whether we use those programs or not.
All right, thank you. Okay, and for advocacy, we are piloting our sector updates program. That's an idea where we reach out to different sectors in the Pueblo community to say, hey, this is what the Pueblo Food Project is doing. What are you experiencing in your sector, and how can we support you? We're piloting with the community garden group. So we have 10 community garden leaders from across the city who will come together and sort of do a brainstorm session on what we can do to kind of improve our collaboration and how the Pueblo Food Project could possibly support that. Next, the advocacy working group is starting on its campaign to get the Roncalli Middle School curriculum across the district. So we have some really fun ideas, and I'll talk about those a little bit more in my coordinator's report. Megan, can you give us a sun, soil, water update? Megan, you are on mute if you're talking.
It looks like Megan stepped away from her computer.
Let me see here. Sorry about that. I will give Megan's update. So sun, soil, water is moving right along. We are at the point now where we're kind of working through the descriptions of the different session types we'd like to host, and we will launch sort of that poll, or excuse me, that application here in the next month or two. Walter Robb is confirmed as a judge for our pitch competition. Yep, very exciting. And you know, we're looking forward to some other high-level guests as well. So Sun, Soil, Water is plugging right along. And with that, I am going to share my screen and we are going to get into the coordinator's report. There, if you can imagine, there's even more great news to share. So here we go. Okay. Let me get this in the presentation mode. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. All right, let's get into it. So first, you all saw an email from me, I hope, regarding the town halls that took place last week. The city of Pueblo is receiving $36 million directly from the federal government to the city of Pueblo as part of the American Rescue Plan Act. This money is meant to help the Pueblo community bounce back from the impact of COVID-19. It is critical that members of this coalition participate in the brainstorming on how this money will be spent. Shout out to Dr. Kelly, shout out to Taylor, shout out to Marcy, shout out to Derek, shout out to K-Ross for showing up at these town halls last week and representing the Pueblo Food Project. Shout out to Ray Lynn, who was also on those calls. It's really important that we say exactly what we want because the city has money now. So the pillars that these proposals must impact are individuals and households, tourism and hospitality, youth, nonprofits, small businesses, infrastructure, and community resilience. As you all know, the food system touches every single one of these pillars. So the proposals that we submit are going to be very strong, and I would love for us all to come together and put in some really stellar proposals. So appreciate those who participated early on. Let's get our thinking caps on and ask for some of this money. A couple other major projects going on around the community. We have the Colorado State Fair 50-year master use plan that Kelly mentioned in the coordinator's report here, which is linked in the addenda. You have a link to see our draft. I'm not going to open that up now, but essentially we're asking that the state fairgrounds be used as a facility available 365 specifically to our pre-K 12th grade population for 5th day programming, and also as an incubation hub. So we're really looking to have this place serve not only the Pueblo community, but the region as a learning center on food and farming. We think it's going to be a great fit. Next, the Pueblo County Comprehensive Land Use Plan is underway. This is the first time it's being revisited in 20 years. It will absolutely impact our food system. So there is, it's actually probably worth me opening this up for y'all to take a look. Can you see the link that I just opened, or is it just the PowerPoint?
It's just the PowerPoint.
Okay. Let me stop share and show you that because it's important for us to kind of get a sense here. So this is a very quick brochure around what the plan is and sort of the framework that they're using to discuss the plan. And we've been successful in getting a few farmer conversations online to talk specifically about the Mesa, but this goes beyond the Mesa. It includes the city of Pueblo as well. This is about built environment. This is about resources for young people. This is about housing. This is about community food creation. It's about water. All of these things are wrapped up in this planning process. And the more and more we engage and we let our city leadership and county leadership know how important a robust food system is, the more likely it's going to get integrated into this plan. So if you are interested in participating in those conversations, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I have kind of a beeline into the consultant who is running the program, and she is very eager to speak to as many people as possible. So don't hesitate to reach out if you want to contribute to the comprehensive land use plan. Again, this hasn't been done in 20 years, and think about how different life was 20 years ago and how different it will be 20 years from now. So we really need to be thinking big picture when we talk about this. Last on this screen is the startup semester that Mo mentioned. The latest version of the RFP is linked here for you, so anyone in the coalition can take a look at what we're up to. All right, it was mentioned a little bit about both of these things. The Food Pantry Assistance Grant is underway. A couple of really fun things going on. We have the Peanut Butter Angels coming back online. We'll be supplying all of the peanut butter, bread, and jelly for that for the summer. We are prioritizing bringing water to our community. We know it gets hot, and we know our homeless community doesn't have access to water. So we'll be buying pallet after pallet after pallet of water and having it dropped in strategic locations so they can re-up. Our virtual pantry is completely restocked with all Pueblo products. We're super excited. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of Pueblo County products filling that pantry. And so if you run any sort of food outreach, y'all, it's up and running. Get back in there. Many of you know that last Friday we had a very sad moment. We were beholden to Mother Nature, and we thought our first distribution was going out last Friday. Nope, the snow put a kibosh on that, and it about broke my heart, but we'll be back in time for Mother's Day. We are doing 1,000 family distributions every 2 weeks from now through the end of June, featuring Pueblo produce and some type of Pueblo meat item or tamales or some other high ticket item. And we're really pumped to be able to put out all food from our community to these different groups. Edible Landscapes back online. Very excited to announce that Central Plaza will be a community herb garden. We have Mineral Palace with 3 times more square footage. We're taking over the beds at the courthouse. We have Sister Cities back up and running. So super grateful for all of the volunteers who are committed to that project once again. And every open invitation to Midway Community Garden on Sunday, May 2nd. That's Sunday. We're doing a sign painting party. Wear your painter pants and come eat some snacks and be outside in the beautiful weather and paint up some signs to really shout out the Edible Landscape Project. It was a lot of fun last year and hope to see many of you there this year. All ages are welcome. Environmental Justice Grant from the EPA is well underway. Our RFPs are closed and the groups are starting to work together. Super thrilled that Desert Art Lab submitted a bid to be the garden architects. Desert Art Lab is a husband-wife collective based in the Superfund site, and they do all different kinds of eco art work. We'll be focusing on Three Sisters gardens for the folks who sign up for that free garden in the Superfund site, as well as dark leafy greens, because we know that pulls out toxins from heavy metals, specifically from the bloodstream. And we are partnering with Dr. Lisa Wachtel to do the curriculum development. Lisa is responsible for our program over at Roncalli, and super excited that she submitted a bid. That project is moving right along. Roncalli, Kelly touched on a little bit, but I'm excited to share these links with you. Our very own Mike Bartolo participated in an interview this week for the students. So that is there for you. And if you if you haven't had a full 101 on what's up with the Pueblo chili, check out the bonus video. It's a great start to finish, short and sweet that Dr. Bartolo put together. We're sharing this with the Roncalli students, but offering that here for you as well. The students are going to help us lobby their very own school board to make this happen. They're growing an abundance of herbs. And when we talked to the teachers sort of running the curriculum over there, we thought that some beautiful herb packs, as well as letters from the students to give to the school board as we move along in our advocacy campaign to get this program spread across the district, would be a great idea. And here is the most exciting part of this little update. Check out the bounty on these towers. This is one tower, and they have 10 of these towers, one in every classroom. There are the students doing some harvesting. And there is a different variety of everything that they're growing. I don't know why it keeps bouncing back to that slide. I'm sorry. And then these trays, these styrofoam trays that you see here, every single student got to take home leafy greens and the things that they've grown to their families, as well as the Roncalli teachers. And that's just amazing that they had so much bounty. Everyone got to take some home. We are working with them to give their second harvest to the Pueblo Rescue Mission and the Soup Kitchen. So our young people get involved in our hunger relief work, as well as creating these beautiful little gift packs for the school board. So really proud of what they're up to. Here is an update from the Pueblo Fooducates, and I'm hoping this audio is going to work. I'm going to turn up my volume.
Hello, I'm Gianna King. I attend Pueblo South High School, and I'm also part of the Pueblo Fooducates. Today I'm going to be talking about the hard work and dedication that the Pueblo Fooducates have been doing over the past 3 months to thankfully and successfully be awarded with the Colorado Blueprint Hunger Relief Grant, as well as a health department grant to be putting on video cooking classes to give to the youth a little bit of that food relationship, so that they could develop better relationships with food, as well as the cultures of food. Learning a little bit about it, as well as getting starter kits and hopefully all of that. We have also put in our mural application, and it has been submitted, and it is going through that process as well. I hope everyone is doing great and staying healthy and happy during these times. Thank you so much, and we are so excited to be putting these on.
I want to toot the horn of the Youth Council for a minute. They are the only student group in the entire state of Colorado who submitted a Colorado Blueprint to End Hunger COVID-19 Hunger Relief Grant. They wrote this thing top to bottom, and they were awarded $10,400 to throw down these classes. This is incredible. Like, of all of the students in the state, they took the initiative, they put it together, and they were rewarded. And so we're going to help them just execute some really dope activities, as well as the health department has a little bit of budget for them as well. So all in all, they'll be working with $18,000 between now and the end of the summer to create peer-to-peer cooking classes. And this was an idea that they came up with. It's the idea that bubbled to the top in the survey that they sent out to their peers. And I'm just like overflowing with excitement and pride for the work that they've been doing. On top of that, as if that wasn't enough, a little sneak peek here. This is the mural that they have submitted for the levy. We have a signal that they're advancing. We're super excited. These are the Fooducates drawing themselves as a fruit or vegetable, doing something they love. This will be 48 by 24 feet on the wall. Again, first youth group to get out there with their own design. They put this together, and so just feeling a lot of joy and inspiration by these young people. So if you run into them while we're out and about doing things, or if you have a chance to volunteer with us when we're putting together these bags for the cooking classes, really take a moment to acknowledge them because they're doing incredible stuff. All right, before I move to my last slide, does anyone have questions for me on what I just shared? I know that was a lot.
I have a quick question regarding the Youth Food Council. I remember last year we did a round where we were accepting applications for new membership. Is that going to happen? And what's the timeline for that, Monique?
Yeah, thank you for that question. So our young people will be managing their own succession planning process. They have all agreed to use the same form that they filled out, but they would also like to have a group interview with candidates who are interested. So the hope is that the application goes out in July, and that the group interview takes place in August, and that the new cohort is brought on by September. School start in September.
Fabulous.
Any other questions on anything else I just shared before we wrap with one fun little slide? And I can't see your hand if you're raising it because I still have my screen shared. So if you want to drop it in the chat or just shout out, that'd be great. right, hearing none, I have one last little question for you. So last month, we asked about cotyledons, and the lunch that we had was actually a very fun lunch and gave me a lot of ideas. So I'm doing it again, pop quiz. Throw your answer into the chat. Share one reason why precision agriculture is important for Pueblo's farming future. And the first 3 folks that throw their answer in the chat, we will get together for a group lunch and a brainstorm. So appreciate those ideas and the opportunity to speak to some of you over some food, my treat. All right, we're getting some stuff coming in here. Lots of stuff. It might be a big group. Thank you very much, Marcy, Derek, CJ, Brandy, Tom. All right. With that, I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I am going to ask for any questions, announcements, appreciations that the community would like to share.
I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone who took the local food leader certification training that the health department was able to offer. We had really great conversations and learned a lot more about our food system.
Awesome. Tom, go for it.
Yeah, we're going to be, I'm part of the VFW here on the south or on the east side on 4th Street. We're also going to be doing a farmer's market as well, I believe, Marcy, over here starting May 22nd. There's slots for like 16 vendors, I believe. So that's one other option. We'll be carrying on the farmer's market on this side of town here as well. Just a heads up on that, just real quick as well.
This is Renee from NeighborWorks. I would like to invite everybody on the 21st of May. We're going to be opening our La Familia garden. We do accept all help with, getting the ground ready, everything else. We do hot dogs and chips and water, and we have a really good time. So anybody who wants to come, I believe the start time is going to be 9:30 in the morning. Any questions, go ahead and just email me. Thank you.
All right, I have 2 appreciations this week. Well, again, a double appreciation for everyone who showed up to those town halls. Pueblo Food Project represent, so thank you very much for that. I want to throw an appreciation out to Cherie and to Derek and to Frank, specifically for, this is a thank you in advance for all of the work that we're going to put in on these edible landscapes. There's just a lot of excitement around this project, and the project is growing, and the profile is growing, and the visibility is growing. And so thank you so much for being leaders and coming back and really showing the community what we can do on public lands. And my second appreciation is for Ed Brown. This is the first time we've had a council member join our meeting. And we very much appreciate you being here and taking time to listen in on what the Pueblo Food Project is doing. So thank you for the time. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else?
I'm so grateful for this group and just all the work that everyone is doing individually through their organizations and then collectively as a whole. This is exactly why Jesse and I chose to move to this region to do the work that we're doing. And it was just like clearly such a perfect marriage, a right place, right time, and just the greatest work. And I'm so excited that the Food Council is also just crushing everything they're doing. So thank you all. It's been so beautiful being here and your patience with me in my recovery process. I promise not to hit my head anytime in the near future again, but just we have so much love for you all and everything that you're doing for this amazing community and food sovereignty and security. So
go for it, Brandy.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of follow back on what Jen was saying. I appreciate everything that the Pueblo Food Project has offered, as well as the professional development opportunities for the members to partake in. And for Monique, always pushing us to the next level. If she feels that we're passionate in something, she's got to tell us to go for it and to go try it. And if it's something new, even if, you know, we never did it, she gives us confidence to be able to move forward. And hey, when it's coming free like that, you can't go wrong. Because I know I'm like wrapped up in debt right now at college, but I love the professional opportunities that we're able to access through this group. So thank you very much.
All right. Anybody else? Okay. I give you back the gift of time. We are wrapping 9 minutes early today. Please enjoy the rest of your day and look forward to seeing some of you hopefully on Sunday for the sign painting party. Notes will come out because we had a lot of great stuff in the chat. Megan, if you wouldn't mind dropping our meeting evaluation in that. You know, we appreciate all of your feedback. So it's going to take you 30 seconds to fill out this evaluation. Please click on the link right now, fill out the evaluation. We want these meetings to get better and better each time. Pueblo Food Council folks, please keep this line open. Let's get started right at 10. And with that, everyone have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, everyone.
What time is the council coming back?
Let's try right at 10. That gives us a good 8 minutes.
Okay, thank you.